have our schedule here for tomorrow.
I'll have hard copies as well in case you
8:45, I'll see you here.
Sounds good.
I'll be at Riverview for a little bit, just driving through the parking lot.
That'll be
Going back home to get the other two ready. You all ready?
It's time.
All right. I'll call it to order. Start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you to all for coming tonight. Our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be their personal best through successful learning experience. Become your best. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda, consent agenda is the order of business with identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion and or separate action. Is there any items we want to move?
I move we adopt the agenda and consent agenda as an order of business. I'll second that.
All right. Do we have to do all in favor? Yes.
Yeah.
All in favor? Say
Yes.
Yes. All right, moving on to consider approval of consent agenda as adopted. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from January 21st, 2025 Board of Education meeting. Approve the financial report for the period July 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025, and approve the bills for the period January 1st through the 31st, 2025 in the amount of $2,218,213.20.
I make a motion, we approve that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item number 6, Board and District Leadership Team Strategic Planning, Legislative Update, Superintendent Scott Sayer.
Yes, we met the area superintendents along with our legislators in Sheboygan yesterday morning. Lindy Brill was absent, however, Joe Sheehan and Devin LeMahieu were present for that. Another rich conversation and different accounts, because you have Joe Sheehan, who's a rookie assemblyman, getting his feet wet, and Devin's been doing this a while. Joe is a member of the Education Committee and also Workforce Development Committee. To this point, Workforce Development has only set its first meeting date, so they haven't officially met to this point. The Education Committee has been very active, however. Some things that he highlighted as far as their conversations, they've been talking about the state assessment, making sure that it's consistent and transparent, and that's a common theme, not only in this area, but throughout the state. Also, they've been talking about the state report card and how it should also incorporate that college and career readiness aspect to it, not just the academic. Again, we'll see if anything comes of that. Also, right now, our high school students have to take a civics test in order to graduate. That's a requirement. They're kicking around the idea in the form of a bill to have a required civics course, not just civics test. Again, these are all proposed bills. We'll see if they go through the Assembly and through the Senate. In totality, right now, there are 6 proposed bills that came out of the Education Committee. Stay tuned to see how far they go and what form they are in once they come out of committee. Devin LeMahieu pointed out that the governor's budget address is tonight. I think it's like 7 or 7:30. And that will really kickstart things as far as that budget conversation. He mentioned that the Assembly is taking to the floor tomorrow already. The Senate doesn't take to the floor until March. He also made mention of court decisions that are going to be occurring this spring and the effect that those might have on the budget as well. And I guess the interpretation of that was, while they're taking to the floor, it might be a bit before we see real hard numbers from a budgeting standpoint and what that could look like for the next biennial budget. Okay. Other than that, we superintendents continue to talk about special education funding. We talk about child care. We talk about a host of other things, but some common themes, keeping that dialogue going with our legislators.
Any discussion with federal funding?
No, didn't have any to this point. I think by and large, it's that wait-and-see approach at this point.
As part of our budget, how large is federal funding? Is it pretty well state and local, or is there a pretty good section federal?
It's not a large percentage that's federal funding. I mean, state aid and taxes are 90% of it.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Scott. We'll move on to the Panther Spotlight, FBLA.
Bless you.
I don't know where you want us.
You can go wherever you'd like to be. This is like free reign.
You gotta be able to see the screen though, right? 'Cause
And ladies, why don't you block Mrs. Bedrecki and Mrs. Williams over there, or myself? That way you can see the board and the screen at the same time. So maybe either back in this corner or that corner? Perfect.
split a little bit. I'm gonna start things off. I'm Todd Williams, one of the business ed teachers here at PHS and the FBLA advisor for Plymouth High School. February is Career and Technical Education Month. And part of that and part of our champion chapter program that we do through our national office, we always try to do a February presentation to the school board about CTE at PHS and then what's happening with FBLA at the high school as well. So that's what we're looking at. We got a crew minus a couple here tonight, and they'll go through everything. I'm just kicking it off and wrapping it up. So here we are. We have Olivia Monkoski is our president. Brendan Nickel is our VP. Ella Morrison is the director of communications. Donna Tolman, community service, is not here tonight. Director of membership is Will Krebsbach. Director of administrative operations is Ashley Miller. Director of national programs is Josh Watkins, who's not here either. And then director of business operations, directors, Adam Bindle and Charlie Monkoski.
So CTE provides students with academic and technical skills, knowledge, and training necessary to be successful in future careers. And CTE also helps students for real-world experiences by providing hands-on education.
So at PHS, we have a wide range of CTE programs, including our agriculture and natural science, which is taught by Mrs. Heinbach and Mrs. Sibley. We have our business and information technology, which is Mrs. Naskovitz and Mr. Williams. Our family and consumer sciences is taught by Mrs. Lund and Ms. Zimmerman. And our technology and engineering programs are taught by Mr. Biller, Mr. Gritt, Mr. Oderkirk, and Mr. Sherman.
Career and technical student organizations are a basic component of career and technical education programs that support and enhance related school-based and work-based learning. According to the Association for Career and Technical Education, CTSOs play an important part in preparing your young people to become productive citizens and assume roles of leadership in their communities. These programs provide a unique program of career and leadership development, motivation, and recognition for secondary and post-secondary students.
Then at Plymouth High School, we have 3 CTSOs. So we have FBLA, the Future Business Leaders of America, and so that's under the Business and Information Technology. We also have FFA, which is Agriculture and Natural Science. Then we have HOSA, the Health Occupation Student Organization, and that's in Health Sciences. And so we also have the Culinary Arts Program, and that's in Family and Consumer Sciences, and our Tech Club and Robotics Club, which relate to technology and engineering.
And then obviously we're FBLA. So FBLA is the largest CTSO with over 230,000 students in the entire country. And then FBLA's mission is to inspire and prepare students to become community-minded business leaders in the global society through relevant career preparation and leadership experiences.
So PHS FBLA was first chartered in 1955, and then it was rechartered in 2012. We are one of the top 5 largest chapters with 128 members this year. FBLA gets kids involved in community service, leadership development, and academic competitions, like regional, state, and national leadership conferences.
FBLA PHS. We also do Mini Business World, which we partner with Wisconsin Business World and Wisconsin Manufacturers. And we do 8th grade with we do projects with them. And then Kohler Company Picnic, we volunteer at the picnic by working the carnival games and rummers. American Legion Trunk and Treat, participate in the trunk or treat, handing out candy and interacting with the kids. Hearts for All Ages, partner with Generations to host a community Valentine's Day party.
So this is our successes this year at regionals. So there was a total of 29 schools there with 700 students. FBLA had 117 members participate, and 72 of our members finished in the top 5. Along with that, 45 of our members finished in the top 3, which means they qualify for the state leadership conference. And then once we compete at state, the top 4 finishers will advance to the national leadership conference, which is in California this year.
So that's just a little bit of overview of what we do. CTE, it's not like you guys haven't heard of CTE before, but a little bit of a refresher on that, what we've done this year, a little bit of what we've done this year for FBLA. As we say there, we continue to learn and grow from this year so we can be even better next year. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Stay warm.
You too.
All right. So moving on to consider the approval of Camp and Kiji detachment of parcel. Scott?
Yeah, thank you once again. As we discussed last week, it's time to do the formal signing on the dotted line per action by the board. Darren is here for any last questions that people have. But once again, looking to detach this parcel from our district, and he said he's already been accepted into the neighboring district that we don't have to name, but we know who it is. At any rate, questions? Okay. Just
Will you be having an open house for the new facility, or have you been?
There will be one coming,
All
yes.
right, well, let's do it.
We'll be making a lot of noise over the next few years.
All right, to accept this change, right, we need to make a motion and second to consider the approval of Camp and Kiji, the attachment of parcel.
I move that we do accept the detachment of the parcel for Camp and Kiji.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been detached. All right. Item number 9, finance, buildings and grounds, consider gifts and corresponding budget adjustments.
Thank you. Yeah, we would ask the board to consider the following budgetary adjustments. First of all, a donation of coupons for Jimmy John's subs valued at $800 for the Plymouth High School, a donation of winter jackets from Fleet Farm valued at $500 for the Plymouth School District, a donation of banners from Gail Garan for the girls softball team, and that final donation, I'm actually going to take out that baby grand piano, did not come to fruition. But it was, we did our best to make it happen, but a very generous offer that didn't materialize. But again, for the other items, very grateful to our community.
All right,
We have
we need
make a
to
motion.
accept.
I make a motion that we accept the gifts and the corresponding budget adjustments.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. And thank you to those donations, to those organizations and people who decide to make those donations. Moving on to item 10. Consider the approval of Wisconsin Technical Excellence and Academic Excellence Scholars. Joe?
And Joe's not here, so in his stead, as a reminder for last week, the board needs to approve our allotment of scholarships for each of these two areas, and it's based on enrollment, so if we are between 500 and 999, and we're pretty much right smack dab in the middle of that, we are allowed 2 scholarships for each of those. So we're looking for a motion from the board to accept those 2 scholarships for both the academic excellence and technical excellence scholarships.
Yeah, all right, and so we can get a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2 candidates for each of the Wisconsin Technical Excellence and Academic Excellence Fellows.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the policy reading. Review the updates to email policies, volume 34, number 1, technical corrections. Administrative updates, 33.2, 34.1, policies 2264, 2266, and UGG/Edgar updates. Janelle?
Yes, as I mentioned last week, Kathy and I, Scott, and a number of our administrative team, we met with our NEOLA rep early in January, and we went through policy updates. So there were a number of technical corrections, which were more of grammatical and just rewording of a few things that were approved. Then there were also updates to the Edgar policies, and those, again, as a reminder, they're from the U.S. Department of Education. They're the Education Department General Administrative Regulations, and if we did receive federal funding, then we have to adopt those. But again, with our current state of the world, we'll see how those fall out. And then there were other policy updates that we highlighted last week that I shared in your packet. So if you have any questions on those, you can see Kathy or myself for further details.
Sounds good. I don't, well, we have to approve the first reading, right? So can I get a motion, a second, to approve the first reading of the NEOLA policy?
I make a motion that we approve these policies changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right, item number 12, period of public participation.
We have nobody that signed up.
Item number 13, board liaison reports. Leslie.
Community Ed, class that we have coming up is called Retirement Planning, Social Security 101, and Understanding Medicare. Social Security will be February 26th. Understanding Medicare will take place on March 19th. And if people want to get in the practice of golfing, you can use the multipurpose facility. And that will be on Saturday, March 1st, and on Saturday, March 15th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. You need to bring your own clubs and balls, but you can use the multi-purpose room. And that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Moving on to the foundation. No.
Foundation, we met last week, Wednesday, even though all the evening activities were called off for snowy night. We had 15 people online for our meeting, so it was pretty good. Our big event is coming up this Saturday. Come and play bingo at the Plymouth PAC. There will be, it's a bingo night, and there's silent auctions, and there's live auctions, and a whole bunch of fun. They're raising funds to create this new scholarship that will be reimbursing or helping students that are AP or advanced placement classes for the students here in-house. So the foundation's creating their own scholarship, so we appreciate and hope all can come. Otherwise, the scholarships have all been submitted by our students, so there's a subcommittee that's now reviewing all the scholarships to be announced later in the spring. So a lot of activity, but come Saturday night at the PAC for fun night. Sounds fun. Thank you.
All right. And last but not least, the Family Resource Center. Kathy.
All right. A couple things to highlight. As always, there's the Bitty Book Club, Bring Your Own Baby, and the Tiny Tots Playgroup that they meet at different places. The 2 things I want to highlight tonight are on March 6th and 7th, there will be the Plymouth Development Screening Day. and that will be at Generations. On Thursday, March 6th, it will be in the afternoon, and Friday, March 7th, it's in the morning. This is for children 6 months to 5 years. It'll give you an opportunity to celebrate where your child is and also ensure that their development is on track. So the developmental skills that will be assessed are language skills, problem solving, fine and large motor skills, personal and social skills, hearing and vision screening, but those will be based on availability. You do need to register for this. It's free, but you need to register by March 4th. The other event that they are hosting in March is on March 13th. It is put on by the Triple P. It's positive parenting discussion, developing good bedtime routines. So if you struggle at night, this might be something that you want to consider. It's from 6 to 8 at Lake Country Academy in Sheboygan. For information on any of those play groups or to register for the developmental screening or the good bedtime routines, visit familyresourcesheboygan.org. And it's all on their website.
Excellent, thank you, Sally, Janelle, Kathy. All right, moving on to personnel. Scott?
One item we would ask action from the board on. We'd ask the board consider the approval of a limited-term contract for Melissa Hill to be a special education teacher at Riverview Middle School for the remainder of this school year. Melissa received her bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point.
All right, we need to make a motion.
Yes.
What does it mean for a limited term?
Limited term means that it ends at the end of this school year. There's no assurance for next year. Which is typical when we do a hire like mid-year, right.
Make a motion, we approve the limited contract for Melissa Hill, special ed teacher for Riverview.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and the support staff updates?
Yeah, a quick update. Rachel Stodik, has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. Also, we added Rebecca Payne, hired as a part-time custodian at Riverview as well. So those are our two new team members.
All right, sounds good. And we move on to travel. Next, we need to consider the out-of-state travel request from Mark Volbrecht, physics teacher at Plymouth High School, to take the physics students to Great American, Illinois in May of 2025. I think this is an annual trip.
Mm-hmm.
And
I make a motion that we grant his request to take the kids to Great America in May.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we don't have any additional items to discuss from the consent agenda. Moving on to the president's report. Filling in for Bob here. Did a little bit of a summary of the week, or I should say the last week, following week, or the previous week. So I just wanted to say thank you to the board administration for last week's long discussion regarding test scores for reading and math within our district. I believe these triennial assessments provide a small glimpse into a student's progress in these important areas. I say small, right? It's really is what it is. It's a snapshot in time. It's good to understand and remember that as we take a look at those scores. As we kind of work into the legislation called Act 20, I personally kind of support the idea. But our teachers and administrators will need to continued support and guidance from our state representatives and CISA members. We must be careful. I hear the statement, we need to demand better from our schools. And it's one way of saying it, but there's a long road to that progress that we all want to see. There are many steps along that progress, right, that path to a successful district for our community. Our local action between what we do here Mondays and Tuesdays is a small piece, but important. We need fair state funding from our schools. We need to prioritize the betterment of teachers and aides to provide the best education to our classrooms. And we need to find the best curriculum and tools to provide the best learning environments for our children. As you're aware, right, I have no formal background in education, but I've seen 5 children go through the school district, and all with, various outcomes, right? I've seen some struggle in some areas and do really well in others and need hardly any help at home. And I'm sure I'm not the only one in this room that has seen that over time. But I think about how things have changed, right, since I went to school, bringing home a bag full of textbooks. Everything's turned digital. There's no textbooks at school anymore, or very few. And the way I've learned is much different than the way they're being taught today. And so I think to myself, like, a lot of things have changed. And, I think of all the improvements we made to education to make it more a digital age, to improve the educational learning philosophies that we have. But I also kind of question to ourselves is that, have we prepared our parents and guardians to understand why these changes are being made? Do they readily have available tools have we provided readily available tools to our parents and our children and guardians that they can access at home? Something that I sometimes weekly go through is additional assignments come back home, and we're asked to do them with our child, but we don't know how they were taught in class, right? And I go back and I default to the way I learned them because I don't really have a book or anything to look at. I made mention on Monday about, the continued interaction via video, be it classroom instruction that we can provide, be it summer school instruction. We've discussed the importance of communication to our parents and guardians via video over email, as we're bombarded by email communication, text constantly. Just that face-to-face appearance helps a lot. And so, just this past week, right, we've had to communicate the Act 20 requirements to our elementary school parents and students. Is just receiving a letter and email sufficient to explain these changes to AimsWeb, where they're coming from and why we are motivated to make these changes? Those are all things that we need to discuss at following board meetings. In conclusion, the district has been using various assessments to guide further classroom instruction for many years now, right? This is nothing new. AimsWeb is a new tool. Teachers and administrators use these assessments to guide each student's individual curriculum needs. Again, not a new thing. The board is now in a recurring process of reviewing these scores and setting goals to improve scores district-wide. This is fairly new, and this is a process that we'll be going through for many years. But all these progresses and changes, they didn't happen overnight. We've made great strides in many areas, and I look forward to the further discussion around these topics. So that's the president report. Moving on to Scott.
All right, thank you. Student and staff recognitions, I've got a lineup here. Lots to celebrate. Our dance team, congratulations to them. They competed in lacrosse, I want to say, a week and a half ago. Took third place in D2 hip hop, one of the categories. Again, dance team really performed at a high level all year long, and it was nice to see them get a little bit of hardware as well. Eli First and Colton Lindman qualified for the state dive competition. They qualified this past Saturday. So congratulations and good luck to them. PHS HOSA, that was alluded to in our slideshow earlier, that organization. They earned 44 regional awards, and 21 of the individuals of that organization qualified for state competition, which takes place the first week of April as well. So a lot to celebrate there. Our FBLA members mentioned their Valentine's Day celebration at Generations. I was able to be on site for that. A really cool event. We were concerned with the snow that day and things like that turnout would not be great, but turnout was great. And it was just a heartwarming event. So great to see that. Next up, congrats to Marcus Lakovic. Marcus is a second grade teacher at Fairview. He was awarded one of the WEA Member Benefits Outstanding Educator Awards. He was nominated by a colleague for that. So he, his family, and then representatives from Fairview, they surprised him by attending Badger men's hockey game a week or two ago on, February 7th is when that occurred. Mr. O'Malley was on site, and really kudos to him, congrats to him, but it really was a celebration for the whole building. And then lastly, Parkview hosted its Super Bowl. They collected non-perishable food items as a ramp-up to the Super Bowl, and then the students could place their donations by either the Chiefs or the Eagles. I was told that the Chiefs got more donations, so they did not accurately predict the outcome, thankfully. But 266 items were donated to the Plymouth Pantry, so that was really cool. Upcoming events, as the board knows, we have some school board tours going on tomorrow morning, so 7:15, 7:20, we'll be braving the cold and arriving here. Really excited for that. It's going to be a very busy morning because we're going to hit all 5 of our main sites, so to speak. And the principals will be taking over and walking us around the building. We'll be popping in classrooms and just getting to see firsthand what's going on a daily basis. So I'm sure you're as excited as I am for that one. Also, don't have to hit it again, but I will. Janelle talked about the foundation fundraiser on Saturday, so if anybody's looking for something to do, never too late. You can sign up and find that information right on our district webpage. And finally, Legally Blonde. You've probably seen posters around the building, if you've been walking around the building, since fall. That's taking place March 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, all 4 days. Those of us walking the halls get to hear the practices going on and things like that, but there's a little bit of a buzz in the building. We're excited for that event, that performance, what have you. So very much looking forward to that. And then lastly, for real, Jamie Piankowski has been working with J.J. Burkhart of Silverwater Productions to put together testimonials of what a comprehensive education means in the Plymouth School District. Interviewing students of all ages, interviewing staff members, what have you. And now that we've hit that open enrollment period, 2 of those videos, we've got about 20 that JJ's put together through the editing process. 2 of those are being released each week as we go forward. So Kurt's going to hit the lights, and Sally and Dan, sorry to inconvenience you, but they're quick. They're like 1 minute. But this testimonial is from one of our 8th graders at Riverview. Really, really well done, but wanted you to see what he's put together.
Education to me means that you get to pick your classes and what you want to do, and like you aren't getting sent out in the world unprepared when you choose what you want to do after. Schools helped me to become my best because they're the school musicals and I love them so much. They introduced me to doing musicals because I'd never done them before. And you can take a whole bunch of clubs, like math club and everything. It's so fun. It's been really fun like going through the education system because all the teachers are like so nice. I wasn't here in elementary school, I moved here from Illinois in 5th grade, and so like I knew nobody, but like everybody was new because they joined all the elementary schools and the middle schools, so it was really fun like getting to know everyone. I'm part of the volleyball team, which is really fun. There was no like sports teams at all where I was before, and so it's really fun to like be a part of the team again. A couple electives I'm planning to do are choir and band, and I think I'm going to take some sort of woodworking class. I'm really looking forward to being a part of the drama arts program at the high school because Mr. Colombo, I've heard a lot of really great things about him.
So again, just quick hits. You can check out on the website. I think we've got 4 uploaded there currently. Of course, I picked the student one. I always get a kick out of those. But our staff has done a great job as well. So again, thanks for all the work to Jamie and JJ for that. That's all I got.
Excellent, thank you. All right, last item of business, adjourn. Any motion? Second.
Make a motion, we close, adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Have a good night.